Chapter 11, Egyptian Civilization. In some part of world, communities of earlier village grew into civilization. Over a long period of time, this civilization had a certain common features. So what are the certain common features? The human population grew as there were now plenty of food for people to eat. Some people started to travel to buying and selling of things. This was also the start of trade. The growth of return and language help the people to express their ideas. People develop their own religious art, craft, and culture. So, in this, we'll be seeing the Bronze Age. Bronze Age. The most earlier civilization grew near rivers. They provided enough water for large number of people. The soil near rivers was very good for farming. The river not only provided water for crops but could be used for traveling or to travel too. So this is a Bronze Age. Next, in detail of Bronze Age, instead of stone, the people of earlier civilization used bronze. So, a metal to make tools and weapons. Earlier humans were using stone as their weapons, so they created tools. Next, but in this Bronze Age civilization, the people of earlier civilization used bronze, a metal to make tools and weapons. So these civilizations therefore known as Bronze Age civilization. So this Bronze Age civilization is classified into four. One is Mesopotamian civilization, Egyptian civilization, and Harappan civilization and Chinese civilization. So this Mesopotamian civilization near the river Tigris and Euphrates, Egyptian civilization near river Nile, Harappan civilization near Hindus, and Chinese civilization near Huanghe. Next, we'll be seeing what is this Egyptian civilization. The main source of information for Egyptian civilization are remains of buildings, objects used by the people, written records, and left behind. So, what are the main sources of this Egyptian civilization is buildings, object used by the earlier people, written records, which is left behind. So, the first thing is location. The Egyptian civilization flourished on the bank of a river Nile. It is the gift of Nile because without this river, it would have been a barren desert. Next, so it would have been a barren desert. The river made Egypt fertile, provided enough of water for crops. The important cities in Egyptian civilization were Gibbs, Mebs. So these are the important civilizations of cities of the Egyptian. So this is the cities in the Egyptian civilization, most important cities. Gibbs. Next, people. The king in Egypt called as Paroha. So the people respect him and even worship him as a god. Some important Parohos were Khufu, Ramesses II. So these are the most important kings. Next, the most people were farmers. So most people of these civilizations were farmers. Next, they were also scribes or a written who kept all the written records. So there were some scribes or a written who kept all the written documents. There were priests, soldiers, engineers, and traders. There were many skilled artists and a craft people as well. So this they mostly people believed in many god and goddesses. Next we'll be seeing about the building. Till now we have seen the location, people. Next is building. Many old buildings don't have been found in Egypt. The most of them are very big and were made in honor of their kings, that is pharaohs. The most well known as pyramid or tombs. When the king died, the Puraha dead, the dead body were wrapped into cotton clothes or a bandages and preserved with special oils. So this process is known as mummification, and a body wrapped in a way is called as mummy. The, s- the sphenex is another interesting feature made by Egyptians. It has the body of lion and a face of man. It was kept in beautiful golden coffin or a box. Writing. The ancient Egyptian left behind a lot of written records on the walls of buildings and a special pyros scrolls. So, these Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians left behind a lot of records on the walls of building on a special pyros scrolls. The word paper comes from pyros. It was a plant which grew along the river Nile. It was cut into stripes, and this was used for writing on after it was dried. The historians and the architectologists are still discovering the new things about this amazing civilization. So, the historians and architecturologists are still discovering the new things about this great Egyptian civilization. So, this is the most importance of the Egyptian civilization. So, first we have discussed that Egyptian civilization grew from small communities of villages. So, all civilization had a grown in population, trade, well planned cities, written languages, religions, art, culture, and craft. This Egyptian civilization flourished on the bank of River Nile. So, the most cities are Giza. Apart from a king or Paraho, this Egyptian society had a farmers, scribes, priests, soldiers, traders, and ancients. The ancient civilization constructed a number of grand buildings such as pyramids and temples. They preserved the bodies of the important people such as kings through mummification. The ancient Egyptian knew how to write using a type of picture written. So, this is the most important recall of the Egyptian civilization.